The Indian Wells Tennis Garden's opulence has just been destroyed by a startling discovery that has left the tennis world in shock. Rafael Nadal, the King of Clay, eschewed his customary VIP perks in order to make a daring historic statement, according to a shocking financial leak from the box office. According to reports, Nadal paid $10,000 of his own money to guarantee a front-row ticket for Alex Ella's opening game. The stadium was so full that there was not even room for the legend's guest list. Nadal allegedly informed organizers, "I don't want a free seat," rather than requesting a favor. "I would like to pay for the right to observe the future. I would do anything to support Alex. There is more to this gesture than just money." The WTA establishment has been rocked by this symbolic endorsement. Nadal has formally declared Alex the tournament's main event by standing up for her. One seasoned commentator was reportedly heard on live stating, "When Rafa pays $10,000 to watch you play, you aren't just a player anymore," while journalists in the media room shouted in shock. "In terms of waiting, you are legendary. There are two effects. By picking Alex over everyone else, Nadal is not only shattering the egos of the players seated, but his presence is also causing a security crisis." According to reports, the front-row security detail has tripled in order to handle the influx of spectators who are keen to see both the prodigy and the monarch. According to reports, the tournament organizers are in a panic because they never anticipated that Rafael Nadal would sit among the general people rather than in a soundproof VIP box. The explanation is obvious. Nadal desires to see the game in its most unadulterated state. "I want to be in the heat," he allegedly said to his squad. "I want to be in the center of the game." Millions of Filipino admirers have been electrified by this act of sovereign humility, which they view as the pinnacle of affirmation for their emerging idol. Although Nadal's team has not commented, insiders believe this was a brilliant tactical play. Nadal is not merely observing from the front row. Rather, he is shielding Alex Ella psychologically from Diana Yastremska, her opponent. Nadal has elevated Alexa from budding talent to tournament centerpiece in a single decisive act, turning a $10,000 ticket into a moment that will go down in history. She will never be viewed in the same light by the tennis community. This is the harsh reality. With the greatest champion of all time seated just 5 feet away, Diana Yastremska now takes against Alex Ella. There is nothing less than nuclear pressure on the other camp. Yastremska's team reportedly panicked and complained to the umpire about how scary Nadal's presence was. However, the decision was straightforward. Nadal is a client who makes payments. He is quite entitled to be there. On Saturday, March 7, 2026, Indian Wells will face a logistical problem due to the financial earthquake generated by Nadal's $10,000 ticket. Nadal allegedly carried out a daring and modest act of disobedience while the WTA hurried to offer him a soundproof, air-conditioned luxury suite, the kind often reserved for billionaires and nobility. "Keep your champagne and your glass windows," Nadal allegedly said to the event director. "I didn't spend $10,000 to view a TV from above. To hear the ball hit her strings, I paid." The VIP sponsors' egos have been destroyed by this rejection. The reality is obvious. Nadal wants to experience the thunder of the fans directly while in the trenches with the Pin Army. He doesn't have a transactional relationship with Alex. It's a mentorship based on blood. Just 30 minutes prior to the game, the information explosion peaked. According to a leak from Stadium One's underground passageways, Nadal allegedly stopped Alex in the covert tunnel that went to the court. Witnesses said they were stunned when Nadal pulled Alex aside for a secret 60-second briefing despite security's best efforts to keep the area sterile. This was not just a motivational speech. According to witnesses, Nadal made hand gestures that showed the precise angles he wanted Alex to use to counter Yastremska's strength. Having a legend coaching in the shadows after purchasing a front-row seat is a psychological weapon that no opponent can defend against, reportedly infuriated WTA administrators. The reality is harsh. Alex is not the only one entering that court. The spirit of a matador led by the king himself is with her. Yastremska's camp is currently experiencing a formal protest as a result of the panic. Her coaching staff reportedly went to the umpire and demanded that Nadal be taken out of the front row, but it's unclear if that will actually happen. They are furious. The opposition contends that Nadal's physical presence and his unwavering, piercing eyes amount to sideline coaching. However, Indian Wells gave a sobering reality check. Nadal has a ticket. He's a fan. A man who has paid $10,000 for his seat cannot be moved. Diana Yastremska is terrified as a result of this judicial setback. The man who has won 22 Grand Slams can be seen watching her every move and waiting for his prodigy to destroy her with every glance toward the sidelines. There is more than simply atmospheric pressure. It's a legend. The Pin Army has discovered their monarch is seated among them inside Stadium 1. There is now twice as much acoustic pressure. According to reports, top private protection formed a human wall around Nadal as fans panicked to get closer to his row. However, the harsh reality is that Nadal is savoring every moment. He reportedly told one of the Filipino supporters, "Tonight we are all part of the same team," while giving them high fives. Stadium 1 has become a Manila stronghold as a result of this sovereign unity. What exactly Nadal murmured to Alex Ella in the tunnel is left up to speculation. Was it a secret of technology? A psychological directive? A brutal order to dominate the game? At last, match hour was announced by the fabled clock. March 7, 2026, Saturday night. As Rafael Nadal descended the stairs of Stadium 1, the Pin Army's acoustic fire reached a seismic peak. According to reports, he sat down just 5 feet from the baseline rather than hiding behind tinted glass. The secret reality. The immediate rows fell silent as soon as he arrived. Fans rushed to be close to him. However, Nadal's expression continued to be a powerful mask of focus. He didn't appear to be a fan. He appeared to be a general, observing the entry of his most valuable soldier into combat. The brutal truth. Nadal's $10,000 seat is now used as a command center. However, Alex Ella's initial foot onto the service queue was the most impactful moment. She allegedly stopped, turned to face the front row, and made a sovereign motion before bouncing the ball. According to witnesses, she covered her heart with her palm and nodded subtly to Rafael Nadal. The stadium erupted with communal feeling rather than noise. It was a quiet, devoted admission that the guy who had taken her under his wing at the Nadal Academy had directed everything she was going to undertake. The information blackout surrounding their connection was destroyed at that one instant. The WTA establishment was in complete shock and amazement. It was more than just a match. It was a spirit's departure. Panic in the opposing camp, meanwhile, reached a catastrophic level. According to reports, Diana Yastremska whispered to her coach, "He is looking right through me," while staring in shock at the sideline. When the matador is evaluating every shot, how can I play? The brutal reality. Nadal is a psychological executioner. When he is around, he is analyzing, not applauding. Before the first set is even complete, Istrika's mistakes are addressed with a delicate scrawl in a small notebook, a record of mental warfare intended to undermine her confidence. Security was furious because they couldn't stop him, but they knew this was top-level mental warfare. However, the Pin Army's response is the hidden aspect. Their customary limits have been broken by seeing Nadal seated among them. Concession stalls reportedly turned into a financial brawl as fans panicked and bought the exact same brand of water that Nadal was drinking. The players are no longer solely responsible for the tournament's sovereignty. The monarch is now on the sidelines while the queen is on the court. The chair umpire reportedly requested crowd hush 3 times throughout the first 2 games due to the extreme sound strain within Stadium 1. But when a nation's prodigy and legend are in the same room, how can you silence them? There was a complete social media eruption. Globally, #NadalConnection was the most popular trend. The brutal truth. When the WTA realized they had lost control of the story, they went into panic. This was no longer their competition. It was an American invasion of Nadal Academy. "I'm not guarding a tennis match," an elite security contractor allegedly said. "I'm watching over a coronation." On Saturday night, March 7, 2026, the psychological siege in Stadium 1 had reached a nuclear boiling point. The actual information explosion did not occur on the court as the opening set approached a crucial point. It took place on the front row. According to reports, Rafael Nadal gave Alex Ella a subtle hand signal while seated barely 5 feet from the baseline. It wasn't a yell. His headgear was adjusted in a princely manner. A signal that only the Nadal Academy's inner circle is aware of. The secret reality. Alex caught Diana Estastega completely off guard by changing the location of her serve right away. The brutal truth. Nadal was using a $10,000 seat to hack the game. He was not a bystander. He was an expert at remote control, breaking out the opponent's tactics in real time. However, the management conflict was the culmination of Phase 4. Witnesses claim that during the changeover, the Indian Wells tournament supervisor approached Nadal under intense pressure from Yastega's entourage. The supervisor reportedly instructed Nadal to stop making gestures toward the court, a look of panic on his face. The WTA establishment was left in stunned silence by Nadal's remark, which was a nuclear reality check. "I am a fan who paid $10,000 to be here," he allegedly added, staring the supervisor in the eyes. "I'll fix my cap if I want to. Look for a rule that states a fan cannot breathe if you want to stop me." The supervisor's power was destroyed by this sovereign resistance. "I can't touch him," he muttered to his team as he was seen leaving. "He is both a paying client and the king. We are confined to the stadium." The Pin Army noticed it right away. The conflict between wills had started. From roaring chants to lethal focused quiet, the acoustic pressure changed. The stadium held its breath each time Nadal leaned forward. The 2 million-strong army let forth a concerted shout when he nodded. The arena was filled with suspense when he remained motionless. Tennis specialists were going crazy over the paucity of information about these covert signals. Commentators were panicking in the television booths, attempting to decipher every nuanced movement of Nadal's hands. "We are witnessing a Grand Slam champion coach a prodigy through optical telepathy," one was allegedly heard saying. "This is the most costly and successful coaching session ever." Other athletes watching on monitors in their changing rooms were in complete misery. Alex Ella wasn't merely showcasing her skills. She was using the matador's own strategic thinking. The brutal truth. Yast was now looking more at Nadal than the ball and panic striking on every point. The psychological execution was almost finished. Alex demonstrated that the Nadal-Alex relationship was the most powerful force in contemporary tennis by moving with regal grace and setting the scoreboard on fire. The security detail was furious as well. They had been specifically instructed to leave Nadal's row. The individual in the front row suddenly held the match's sovereignty instead of the players on the court. However, a secret factor was starting to show. According to leaked reports, Roger Federer texted the tournament director to ask for a live broadcast of Rafael Nadal's responses. Stadium 1 was the focus of the world of legends. On Saturday night, March 7, 2026, the fabled clock had reached its last tick as Alex Ella faced Diana Estastega at match point. The psychological siege within the stadium had reached its most brutal end. According to reports, the Pin Army's acoustic fire was so strong that decibel meters panicked. However, the secret was right in front of us. The man who paid $10,000 to attend, Rafael Nadal, did not stand. He didn't applaud. His gaze was a sovereign power that seemed to freeze the air as he sat in deadly quiet. The stadium didn't simply erupt as Alex delivered the game-winning cross-court hybrid strike. The harsh reality was burnt. A 20-year-old from the Philippines and her matador coach have officially overthrown the WTA establishment. However, the flood of knowledge was far from over. Witnesses claim that a sovereign command removed the security detail responsible for containing the Pin Army shortly after the handshake. Nadal didn't hold out for an invitation. According to reports, he leaped over the low front row barrier, the same seat he had paid $10,000 for, and entered the court right away. Unsure of how to deal with a legend who was also a paying customer, WTA officials were furious and in a panic. Nadal walked up to Alex, who was clearly moved and crying. In front of 16,000 spectators and millions of people across the world, Rafael Nadal leaned in and made a vicious 10-word comment that is now considered the Philippine tennis Bible. The entire world is currently observing. Don't ever let them see you blink.